and make sure that we have like a clear plan for that and how we're delegating. And yeah, just discussing like how we want to continue to build momentum and keep the hype up. And I am currently nursing, so I'm like a little bit distracted, but I think that will be done in a moment. Oh, or maybe now. I'll pass it to Ashley.
Yeah, sure. Happy to sync up. There's also construction happening at my house, but hopefully that doesn't become a problem. Yeah, see what needs to be added to the documentation, and if there's any articles that need to be published in the next month, we can scope that out as well. And I'll pass it back to Lauren. You're muted.
Cool, thanks guys. Since it was on the top of everyone's list, let's just jump into the community moderation stuff. And like, I know Ashley's been doing a whole ton of that, so I think you probably have some good things to say, but like we all have done a little bit. So maybe we can just do a round and talk about like anything that we think needs to be added to the documentation or into the communications, or just like any problems, even if you don't have a solution for it yet. And overall, like your experience with moderation. So moderation vibes. So yeah, who wants to go first?
Well, I can definitely talk at least a little bit to the security part and us needing to put in place some sort of like report area where all the moderators can talk to each other. I know we have the moderator channel, but like some area where we could report people that we banned, why, and how long, when they were banned, like how many chances they've got and things like that, so we can all be on the same page with things like that. It looks like there's some bots in the works being implemented into the server, and Kai and what's his name? Giant, I don't know. I will remember everybody's names eventually. They're gonna get a call together to put some bots into the server that should make that process pretty automated, so we can keep track of that and maybe like have a scam report channel and some things like that. I don't really know the depth of all of it. I'm gonna go and show up and like try to learn as much as I can, and so at least I know how the bots work and I can moderate using that, and then I could kind of like maybe teach you guys what commands or whatever we need to know that way and pass that information down.
Nice. Yeah, I noticed the bots as well. Did you notice anything, like, what were the most frequently asked questions, and are they missing from our FAQ?
I think we could definitely clarify a bit more give back stuff, because there's some people who like expect to donate and then go to their give backs page and see that there are give backs there. So I think we just need to add in a little more information into like documentation, or maybe somewhere in the UI that lets them know that they'll be distributed, or calculated at the end of the round, reviewed for fraud, and distributed maybe by, I made a comment, you made an issue for this, I made a comment in your issue, but to like we could do a by this date, but I don't think we should promise a certain date for give backs. Like maybe we could do it like within a week, or like by that, halfway through the next round, or we say something like that. But we definitely need some time to review and to create like a publicly accessible area where we can either discuss the numbers or review the numbers and then pass a vote on it, because as far as I know, we all need to vote on the distribution. So it will need to be linked to like a forum post about, what the numbers were, and I don't know what all information we would include in that. But this is just the process that I see coming forward with that. And I know that's not all comm stuff, but at least we can all see the bigger picture.
Okay, nice.
Can I just precurse that? Maybe that helps add some ideas. Is what I'm realizing is that our documentation can be very comprehensive, but very few people are going to read it before they post in the channel.
Yeah, totally.
So that seems like we can just and so I guess to Ashley's comment, then we'll have to make it obvious somewhere in the UI.
Yeah, I
Because
actually
otherwise they'll
made
just
an issue.
Go ahead, Lauren. Go ahead.
Yeah, I already actually made an issue for exactly that thing, because there was the feedback about that having like, why is my give back 0? And then you like click it, and then it's a pop up that's like, because they're not distributed yet. But like I made more text than that, so I think like that's a nice quick fix thing. And then I was also just before this call working on making. I made 2 issues, and I have one more to make about if you're donating a token that's not eligible, and then like right after you donate, it should be like, you'll get give backs after the round ends, and like some point after the round ends. And yeah, like Ashley was saying, we don't need to be explicit about the date. I know, but so that we can keep that flexibility. So we just use the languaging like, you will get it after the round ends, leaving some time for the distribution to happen or something like this. But I haven't written that one yet.
Yeah, and maybe I can change the wording in the email a bit to be a bit clearer too when someone donates to a verified project. Maybe I can check into that and see if there's any way I can make it a bit clearer.
Cool. Great. So hold on, I'm just gonna be like one more thing. Cool. Do you want to pass it, Ashley, to somebody to do their lessons learned in community moderation?
Sure, I could pass it. One other thing is I just wanted to say like awesome job, because a lot of these things as they came in, we got the documentation updated on the spot. And so as things were coming in, we were just like on top of it. We weren't necessarily really collecting too much that we have to implement now. We all did a really good job, so good job, guys. And I will pass it to Mitch.
This is still talking about moderation insights.
Yeah, so anything that you notice while doing community moderation, if there's stuff that you think that we need to add to the documentation or add to the user flow, just kind of like big reflections, actionable points.
Oh, yeah. Get some bots, and maybe it'd be cool to have some of this stuff like pinned. I find myself like kind of looking for the same responses that other mods already posted. So it'd be cool to have like some sort of like cookie cutter response. And if it was somewhere in the pinned messages, then it's like, that'd be really awesome.
Ooh, that's very nice. Maybe because we are getting a lot of the same things. I wonder if we could just, in the support channel, have like, it could be pinned response FAQs, Like we get these questions all the time. Here was the best answer, and then a pin to the message.
Yeah, because literally then, just because then when you get those questions, you could send them right in Discord to this pin message.
Mm-hmm.
So I think
Go ahead,
that as moderators, you should all have the capability to pin messages. I guess the question is would we pin them in the moderators channel, because then we wouldn't be able to send users to those messages.
I think in the support channel. Yeah, and then if a user clicks like see pinned messages, it's like they're actually seeing the answers to FAQs, like to real FAQs, the real frequently asked questions.
So we could post the links to the Discord, because I think a lot of people might also post questions not in the support channel that we would want to pin to the support channel. So maybe we just like copy and paste it and then put a link to that specific comment. Maybe that's a good way.
You mean copy and paste their question?
Yeah.
Oh, like, you're talking about
copy and paste their question and then provide the link to the actual Discord message.
Oh yeah, sure. In the support channel. That sounds
Because
good.
if they ask the question in Give Economy, we can't pin that question to the support channel. It would only be pinnable to the Give Economy channel.
Yeah, that makes sense. So for sounds good. Anything else, Mitch?
That was the biggest thing. And then just a comment about like just making the UI more obvious, and then that saves us the time of trying to cover every corner in the documentation, and hopefully less questions in the Discord.
Did you notice anything, like, were most of the things that we need to add to the UI givebacks related, or should we add other things? I mean, I know there's on the Give Garden, I think we need more clarification about like how staking in the XDAI pool is the same as wrapping tokens in the Give Garden, and then a little bit on the stream, like fixing the APR pop-up. But is there anything that's not already addressed that you think needs to be addressed in the UI?
Nothing glaring to me. You know, obviously a lot of the overhead is just dealing with airdrop hunters right now, you know? People just maybe who aren't English native coming into the channel, not really reading or doing any beforehand research and just blurting questions out into our channel, which is like, you know, I think that's going to be inevitable.
Yeah.
They're not going to bother to like look. They're just going to come into our channel and ask questions.
Yep. Definitely.
So however we can like create the least amount of overhead for that eventuality is like, that's what I'm thinking about.
Yeah. I have a question, and I don't know if it's already written somewhere or what, but what is the date that the give drop becomes no longer available?
We said 5 years.
Oh, okay, so
like we're just gonna, you can
available
claim
for the
for
whole
5
time.
years.
Okay.
Yep.
Unless, of course, the DAO decides to change it.
Yeah.
Because we can stop it, but it would be a DAO decision.
Okay. Just curious about the process.
Do you want to pass it, Mitch?
Yeah, I'll give it to Forrest.
Hey, I want to say that I found a lot of repeat questions. Found the community moderation spreadsheet that you created, Ashley, to be really helpful. It was nice to have quick links to the documentation. Yeah, there were, especially during the launch party, a lot of people that were just posting like thanks or, you know, just kind of like these one-word answers. So like that was something that came up a lot. I think initially I was like hesitant to block people. And then I see, yeah, that is like a very high priority. Also, something I was doing is like rather than a lot of like negative reinforcement, I like positive reinforcement. So I was going through a lot of the channels, and when I would see someone that was writing like more lengthy posts, I was replying to them and like kind of keeping the vibe high. And every so often I would go in and like write really like encouraging, uplifting content around the drop and just like the excitement of all of the participation. And whenever I would do that, a lot of like participants would reply and like also share their own perspective. I thought it was really great how much we were sharing about Twitter and using like the launch party and the tips to encourage people to follow us on Twitter and like share a screenshot showing that they did so. I think like our Twitter reach has increased a lot in the last couple of days. And even just like posting links to like asking for a clear request. You know, we want more people to follow us on Twitter to like continue building the future. People like to feel that they're a part of something bigger than themselves. So I think that that's really well. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel this Twitter tips thing, I feel like very conflicted on. I mean, since you brought it up, it's cool that we're getting like an extra following, but like, is it really the following we want? Is it like quantity that we want, or is it quality? And I was like, I'm a little torn on the. I mean, Griff was talking to one of the shilling people who was like invited into the Shillers Discord, and then he was like learning a lot of interesting things about like how these shilling things works, and it's like a lot of people getting paid tips just by doing these sharing shilling actions, which in like some ways is advantageous, in other ways is like creates a lot of noise. And I don't know, like this is like a good question for like the comms team. Like, do we want to be encouraging that kind of like just like everybody come get tips, just like random like retweets, or do we want to be like trying to curate our following more directly?
Yeah, it's definitely something I've been considering too, and I'm also on the fence about it because I think that if it remains at a manageable rate and it doesn't become overwhelming, like at the launch party, I don't know about you guys, but that was intense. And trying to like ban and moderate, plus collect questions, plus stream, plus talk, plus all the things all at the same time was so much for me. And so if it gets to be like that, then I don't think I want to move forward that way. But if we can be clear about our intentions, and Willie and Crusher were saying that some of their like really good contributors came from this place as well, and like a lot of those people, it's their first experience with crypto, so it's not necessarily that their intentions are bad or malicious, but that they just like don't know the culture, haven't been introduced to it in any other way, right? So I don't know, I could definitely see both sides of it, but yeah, it's a good discussion topic.
After talking with some of these guys, and I think actually, Air Tuian, you're probably part of this crew. I'm assuming that like came in from some Discord and to get some tip CC tips or something. I don't know if that's true or not, but after talking to some of them, it's like, okay, I really jive with what you were saying, Ashley. Like they just don't understand the culture. I thought they were bots. I actually thought everyone was like a bot, and when they started posting like the screenshot of their Twitter, of the Giveth Twitter, I was like, what the hell is this? Like ban. I didn't even know that we were. It was just like crowding the whole conversation. So I was just banning everybody like mad because like, what are you even doing here? But I didn't know. I think if we were a little bit more warned, we could have like repeatedly said, we will ban you if you just keep adding comments like thanks over and over again, and tell people that like that's not like what we want. We want engaging conversation. And yeah, I agree though. I think like it basically ruined the launch party for me. My experience of the launch party, my personal experience of the launch party, was completely ruined by all of that, which is really sad because it was a really special moment, So, but I do think that if we're prepared for it, it's not, as long as it's something that we understand, then I think we can make it work.
Yeah, Willie and Crusher were talking a bit about it before when they started inviting people, and he made that tip out channel. And I was thinking, they're gonna have like 10 people in here or something, like sharing tweets and helping promote, and like that's really awesome. But I was definitely not prepared for that day, and I have to agree with you. Like it took me at least a couple hours afterwards to just kind of like ground out from all of that. It was so much.
Yeah. I think we should add it to our code of conduct, and maybe like the rules for entering the Discord. We'd also just like have a clause that it's like, or we can be a little bit more clear about like what the culture is, and that we want people adding value, and like just even simple things like not just highs and thanks in the channels, because it like really dilutes our ability to see good questions coming in. I think that I think finding the right balance between is good, because it's nice to get a bunch of people coming in and excited and curious and like, yeah, maybe they don't understand, maybe they're new to crypto and and it's like we want to create an encouraging, welcoming culture, but then also like set the boundaries around it. So I think if we make that boundary clear, such as in the Discord rules and code of conduct thing, then it's much easier for us. And then it's like, oh, even if they don't read it, then they get banned. Then maybe they'll go read it, and then they could come back in.
Yeah. Well, and I
Maybe
think
we can
too,
like
if
pin
they
that.
DM like a moderator asking to get unbanned or asking for a second chance, because that's been happening a lot for the people who did get banned. And my strategy has just been to be very clear, like this is a place for like, please only chat if you're going to add value, and I think we could even be more clear once with them. So maybe they come in and they're, posting stuff and they get banned, and like you said, then they go read it, or then they get reminded by a mod, and it kind of like clarifies our mission for them, and like what it is that we're actually about and what we're looking to collaborate with.
It seemed like, one or two people would post something and then like everyone jumped on the bandwagon and thought that was like the intention or something. Cause like I noticed one or two people posted like, oh yeah, I followed you on Twitter, and they shared a screenshot, and then all of a sudden there were like 30 screenshots or something below. And so I imagine those people were under the impression that that was like requested, or like that was how they would receive a tip or something. Like they were supposed to show proof. That was my impression of what happened.
Yeah, I think that is what happened.
Like gamifying.
Totally. Because it was like, Crusher was trying to get more people to follow Twitter. It was like 80 more something or la 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 la. And I mean, we did get like lots of likes and retweets from that, which is cool. But it's like, it's an interesting cool. I'm like, do I like it or do I feel bad about it?
Yeah, and maybe talking with Crusher too, because he seems to be like he knows this community, he knows a lot of people in the community, and he might be a good person, like spokesperson, to kind of clarify the boundaries with the group of people, because it almost seems like he's like kind of like a leader for them.
Totally. Okay, so talk to Crusher about creating boundaries with the army. Okay, cool. Forrest, did you?
I mean, just really, we have Air Tuian here. Like, Air, do you have any like insight for us on this? Like, what are your intentions? Are you part of this crew, or did you come to us from some other direction? Are you just listening, or even you just put your video on here just for fun? No. Okay.
Oh, hey, Griff, we have a podcast in 30 minutes with the DAOists.
Yeah.
Cool. I totally forgot now. I just see that it's an alert on my phone. Cool. Great. Cool. Forrest, did you feel complete, or did you have anything else you want to add to your reflection?
I feel complete.
Okay. Do you want to pass it to, well, either Griff or me? We're the last ones.
Okay, I'll pass it to you, Lauren.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think with the givebacks and all the communication, Chris made a really, Chris from old Giveth times, he made a really good issue in the Give Economy board saying, like, I think this isn't work. I mean, it was mostly like, I think that there's a bug here, kind of, but it was actually just like, I don't understand how any of this works. And then that really like gave me some good inspiration as to a hand of like things that we need to add to the UI. But yeah, with regards to moderation, I mean, I have a question actually, because I'm on the Giveth Twitter, and there's not so much negative action on the Giveth Twitter. There's not a lot of people like coming and being upset, but there are a few people being upset on our main tweet, just being like, "Oh, you don't care about early supporters and blah blah blah." And I already commented with the give drop eligibility, and then just like more people say things. Can I just ignore them? Like, yeah, because I think if I don't need to respond to everyone. Like, they're like,
Don't
this
respond.
project will fail. It has no credibility. And then I'm like, this is so dumb.
Don't respond.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
their
cool.
job.
It's feeding the fire. It's just feeding the fire by responding.
Great, cool. So because I did provide the information. Great. Other than that, yeah. No, I think like what we covered in the questions I had for you guys is like all kind of everything I was thinking. Griff, is there anything that you wanted to add? The initial question was just kind of like reflections on like how things have been going with moderation. If there's any things that we need to add from a comm standpoint to improve our infrastructure.
No, I mean, I think it's all pretty good. I wish I understood how I could ban people and they just keep coming back. I don't know how they do that magic, but I talked to Vi about it today. Actually, he was like, probably just spin up emails and are using the same name. So, nothing we can do. I think we should embrace the tip CC culture in the end and try to control it and corral it. In the end, I love that there's all these people that are around the world that are happy to work for a couple dollars a day, in an hour, that want to be involved here, and maybe we can help them, get into Web3 and become, valuable contributors to their family, So like, I think there's an opportunity there to make the world a better place and, help people who this is their best option at a job. So I think we should just figure out a way to work with it.
Cool. Yeah, all right, that sounds good. So I have a few actionable items here from this conversation. I can make them into GitHub issues, but so Ashley's going to change the wording in the email to be a little bit more specific about givebacks when they get distributed. I'm going to work on that like pop-up after you donate saying that you're going to get givebacks after the round ends. Everybody can pin questions to the support channel that are like good answers to questions, but maybe we want to have somebody like as a designated person to go through the support channel and be like, yeah, just kind of like read through them, find the best answers, and then pin them to the top.
Yeah, I can do that. I can do that at least for like the past stuff, and then going forward, I'll kind of do it under like the same format, so you can kind of see how I do it. And then going forward, if you guys find any good ones, you can just add them to mine. So I'll go for all the past messages, and then anything in the future, if you guys see good ones come up, just add them.
Amazing. Cool. Adding to the code of conduct. Please only chat if you're going to add value. Can we, Ashley, I think the code of conduct was a message that you wrote, right? Do you have to edit it? Okay. Do you want to write that, Kolas? Do you want me to write something for it?
Sure. You can write something and I'll see where it fits in there.
Okay. And then the last thing was talk to Crusher about creating boundaries with the army. Does anyone want to help support the management of like all of these people coming in and like working on the structure of it?
I can probably facilitate it. What do you guys think is the best way to like just have a call and other people join, or I just like DM with Crusher and talk about it, or?
I don't know.
I can help write maybe like a best practices of like communicating in our different like channels and events and stuff. Like that might be a helpful thing that we can easily send.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think
communication.
I think we should create something and then I can like take it to Crusher, or we can take it to Crusher, but we should have like some sort of guidelines, boundaries, the boundaries to be enforced kind of defined before we have that conversation.
Yeah,
definitely.
I'll write that.
That sounds cool.
Also, I could try to invite you to one of these Discords where they're running these like shill armies.
Yeah,
and we could. I've been talking to Jay _, who seems to be a leader or something, an admin for it, and just like saying, hey, like what the hell,
Yeah.
They're just trying to get me to pay for like them to shill. I don't know that we want that, but it's an interesting thing that we could, at least navigate this tip CC bot.
Yeah, you can add me to the Discord. I'm in the TipCC bot Discord, and there's a lot of that activity in there. I'm in a couple other servers where they have crazy events and they use all sorts of TipCC crazy coins, and it gets nuts. It gets nuts. But you can add me to one, and at least that way we have like an inside perspective of what's really going on in there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool. So Griff to add Ashley to Schiller's Discord. Nice. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna make these into GitHub issues later. So I think that was pretty good reflection on like how things have gone for launch party stuff and any of like the moderation things. Yeah, and updates to documentation. I think that was already kind of covered in that. Maybe we can take a little bit of time and just like burn through the issues that are on the board. There are some things here. I think a lot of them we can just close, but yeah, I didn't actually review these, Ashley, yet, but I was going to just like read them before I close the issues for the emails.
Yeah, that sounds good. Just read them before you close them, and if there's anything you think I should change, let me know. But I think that for the most part, they're fine.
Cool, nice. And then so for launch shilling, I think we can call this done, right? We did a bunch. It was good. And then make Discord more resilient. I mean, this is still kind of like ongoing, but I think we're kind of like done with the initial stages. Can this issue be done?
I guess if we're gonna be integrating more bots with Kai and stuff, maybe leave it open but put it back more, and I can add more information as we start adding bots to that same issue. Unless we want to create a new one, but I think we could just keep this one going.
Cool. We'll be adding bots. Right. I moved it to sprint backlog.
Okay. Cool.
Review emails and autopilot to make sure they're ready for launch. So you already did that, so I can close this one, right?
Yep.
Okay, I'll close it later. Give economy launch party. We did it, but actually, Griff was suggesting maybe having an OG Giveth launch party and then like a team launch party. I don't know. What do you guys think? Should we schedule like a couple more parties? Like, do we want to do any more celebration or any more decompression?
I feel like decompressing outside the context of having launch parties.
Yeah.
When am I going to decompress?
Oh, wait. So do you want to
Yeah,
you want to take some time for yourself and get a massage, or?
Yeah, I heard Griff's really good. No, like that's something bigger. It's like scheduling launch parties that we have to facilitate because we want to decompress seems a bit like counterintuitive, counterproductive.
Well, I
misunderstood.
I could facilitate something, but here's the question. Is it valuable for us to have a call with the team where everybody has a chance to talk about how they think that like the launch went and how they're feeling with like the give economy, like just kind of having like a debrief.
A debrief. Okay.
Well, I have to hear all kinds of things all the time because Griff and I live in such close quarters. But Monique and Griff were having a nice call this morning. Monique was saying some things about the launch. And I was like, wow, Monique's perspective on the launch. I wonder what everyone's is, you know? It's like, wouldn't it be nice if we could all get together and like sync up and be on the same page and be like, that felt this way and I'm excited about this and this is what I think we should do going forward. I think it might be like a valuable way to spend an hour like connecting as a community and I also think like it could help for just like as we move forward. It felt a little like we were pushing, and then we like launched this thing, and now everyone's like, oh, you know.
I definitely agree. Like every time I've ever done an event, we always have a debrief afterwards and talk with, all the key stakeholders and see everyone's perspectives, and then like, okay, where do we go from here, and like create like a clear plan.
Yeah, I definitely think it would be helpful to come back together and just, like I said, get back to that same, like, so that we're all on the same page and we have kind of the same vision and how we felt and share that. Because it was definitely a lot for me. It was a whole experience for sure, and I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way.
Okay, cool. I think it's a good idea. I'll schedule it, and then if people like, I'll make a doodle, and or could someone else make a doodle? Forrest, could you make a doodle?
Make a doodle.
Could you figure out what's a good time for like every unicorn?
Yeah.
That would be amazing. I don't mind to. I'd be happy to facilitate the call. I'm gonna add you to this Forrest. To make a doodle, and then we could have something like, you know, late this week or early next week, and just reflections. We kind of just did in this comms call, but I think it would be nice to do with everyone. The other thing was, I don't know, Griff, do you think it's still, do you want to still have a OG Giveth launch talk?
Yeah, and you know, these things are not necessarily like, I mean, we call them parties, but it doesn't have to be this big thing that's like recorded and da da da. You know, I think for the Team One Unicorn channel, you know, invite everyone there and just be like, oh my God, how was the launch for you guys? You know, and let's just like, yeah, debrief, decompress, whatever. And then with the OG Givethers, it's almost more like, yo, hi, giant token holders. Let's have a talk. And make sure that you guys have, I mean, I did my best I made a video for them all to watch and whatever, but would love to hear more of their feedback and you know, share some old times or something, like pick it as an opportunity to talk about the old times. But I think that doesn't need to be facilitated by you guys. That can be something I set up if I can get around to it. For
sure. Well, if I make an issue for it and I put it on my board, I will push you and it will happen.
It's true.
So I think it's valuable to talk about old times and new times with big token holders. Okay, cool. Well, now there's an issue for it, so I won't forget. Terms and conditions for Give, Garden, proposers, and challengers. Oh, yeah. Okay, this is like the TEC was making something because they're going to have a garden of like, yeah, terms and conditions for people making proposals and people challenging proposals. And maybe we could like work theirs. Oh, Mitch is gone. I was hoping Mitch could do it. Well, I was hoping we could fork the TECs and then like modify for our own. I mean, I think it is valuable to have. It just we didn't really have much bandwidth before launch to set something up. But maybe we'll just leave it in the product backlog and we can like.
Can you give me an example of a proposal, or like what one of the terms or conditions would be for proposals? Like,
yeah, so it's like, I mean, I don't really know. What I would like to do is like look at what the TEC has, but it's like when you make a proposal in the Give Garden, you're like putting 5,000 Give like at stake, you know, and then your proposal could get challenged, blah, blah, blah. So it's like anytime that you're kind of like putting up money, there should be like some sort of like agreement that you're like agreeing to, or you like understand that like these are the terms of doing that, you know, and like your proposal could be challenged and like this is how things could go afterwards. Your proposal could be challenged on these grounds.
Okay. No, that sounds good. That I have like a little bit more clarification now.
Yeah, and the TC already created one, and I think we could probably just like fork it quite heavily and modify a little, you know.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good plan.
It's not built into Gardens yet, though.
Okay, are you saying that we just shouldn't?
Well, we should at least in parallel, we should push the Gardens crew to add this terms and conditions checkbox. I started talking to them in their chat about it, but then like just lost the thread, honestly. And they're like, terms and conditions for what? Like, oh, well, you know, the people are putting up money, it could be taken from them. Whatever. It's kind of like the response that I got. Whatever, it's crypto, you know? It's like, oh, well, you know, if someone puts up a proposal that they think is good and they don't check for a week and their money is taken from them and for our case right now, 5,000 give is $5,000. You know,
Yeah.
like they might care
I might care. Yeah.
a lot. So it's good to have some terms.
Agreed. Okay, so are you pushing the gardens team on that still?
I
You said you
was,
lost the thread and you don't have the bandwidth for it.
well, I probably have the bandwidth for it. I will probably need to push them on at least the idea. I wish I would have thought about it yesterday. I was actually in the gardens call and I was like, but I think to push, we just like basically DM Gabby.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, there was something else. Oh, Taurus. See if they can integrate Taurus. If you're pushing the gardens team, see if they can integrate Taurus so that users can use it to vote, and also getting the terms and conditions thing there. Okay, cool. Hi, Chewy, by the way.
Hey, Chewy.
And Heroic. And then Solar MKD. Welcome to the call.
Hi, everyone.
Hello.
This is our communications call. We were just doing some decompression from the lunch, and now we're going through the board and any outstanding things that are on there. So I'm going to keep powering through MetaView podcast after lunch. I'm actually talking with Pete about scheduling something soon, so I think that would be nice to have as well. I'm just talking about kind of like the Give economy and building a little more hype. Add weird stake wrap Give garden 100% staking thing onto the Give farm. Oh. Yeah, Mitch isn't here. Man, I wonder where Mitch went. This is to add to the Give Garden documentation. It's because, like, in the Give Garden pool, you have to approve before you can wrap your tokens, and you don't have to approve in the other pools, and it's sort of confusing, so we should, like, clarify why that is in our documentation. But, project verification documentation. Oh, yeah! This is great. So, actually, we were talking about this before. And actually, either you or Forrest could maybe take it. I'm whichever of you seems more appropriate in what you want. But this is basically just so we have like one place that explains everything to do with project verification. Because like right now, our links for project verification are like linking to like how to make your project traceable, and we were going to try to not encourage people to get their projects on Trace right now. And then the other part is like linking to the documentation, but doesn't really explain like why get your project verified. And like I think even just like adding a little bit of information about like what's in the type form, like we look for how funds are being used, we look for reputation at stake, and like putting that in one documentation, we call it the project verification documentation.
I can take that.
I also have I have the document in Notion that outlines the process. It's kind of more of an internal document, but I thought that the plan was to put that in the blog, the Medium post with the Givebacks program. So we were going to like outline the whole Givebacks program in the Medium post as well as the verification process. That was just my understanding.
I think it's better to have in our documentation for like all of the finer details of it, and then we can make the Givebacks blog post more like we talk about project verification, and the project verification documentation has like more specificity. Because I was also thinking now that we've launched, like Givebacks is going to change. We're going to have like project curation, and I think it's valuable to get into a little bit more of the details of like how this will evolve over time, so we can talk about the Givebacks program as it is, what project verification is, how to get verified, and then like eventually Givebacks will become this, so stay tuned, you know?
Yeah, it makes sense. I guess the one thing inside that kind of makes me hesitant to like really make the entire process public is it also like shines lights on place by giving all the details like that. Like it's basically a guide to how you can cheat the system.
I don't think that you need to publish like the entire process that's like used by verification team people, but I almost think like even just explaining what the type form says in a documentation, so then it's like without having to go through the type form, you know what we're looking for.
Okay, yeah, so more so like the giving the information that you will need to provide, why, and like being a little bit more detailed with like some examples and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. And then you could say like, and you could get your project could become traceable, and your donors will get givebacks, and then those link to the other documentations we already have.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay. Forrest, let me know. Like, if you take that on, let me know, and like maybe I can help review your document, or we can, if you have questions, ask, and we can kind of collaborate on it if you want some help.
Yeah, that sounds great. Thanks.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I dropped for a second. My bathroom is flooding, but it's under control.
Oh, I'm glad it's under control. We did miss you.
Yeah, I missed you guys too. What's happening now?
We're powering through the issues on the board, and
Great.
Forrest is going to take on writing documentation for project verification, and Ashley's going to help her. If she has any questions. And then there was also actually, Mitch, you remember how you asked this question about, here, you actually asked this question, you made an issue in the Give economy thing, and you're like, there's a prove on the 100% Give staking, but on the other pools, there isn't. It's actually because the Gardens requires you to approve before wrapping your tokens, and then that's like the smart contract that you're interacting with, but on all the other ones, we have like permit, so you don't need to approve. But I think we could make this like just add it to the Gardens documentation. So I made an issue for it, and I was wondering if you could take that on.
Yeah, maybe just add some more notes about what you just said to me right there, and then I can plug it into the Gardens docs.
Okay.
But is this unique because we're using like a custom Unipool contract?
No, it's just this. It's because the custom Unipool contract is so that the people can have a stream, is so that your rewards also increase your stream.
Right.
But this is like when
it's the way their contract is on Gardens. It's like you need to approve then stake.
Yeah, it's actually like approve then wrap, but we called it stake on the Give farm so that it's like less confusing.
Yeah. So instead of using a permit function, they use this.
Exactly.
Okay, I got you.
Okay, cool. Wait, so you don't need me to write more?
Write it down.
Okay.
I understand, but just or I'll just write it down here. It's fine, Lauren. Continue with your meeting.
Contest spreadsheet for PAN payments. This is on here for a while. Mitch, do you want to just like tell me what this is? I think you were cat herding Danny on creating a spreadsheet for PAN payment system. Is this still
still cat herding?
Still cat herding. All right.
Because our PAN payment process is not clear, and Hannah left, and so it's really just a big loose end. And Danny signaled that she wanted to do it, and Gene signaled that he wanted to help. So there you go.
Right. Okay. Cool. Okay, cool. I added a couple of new issues. Oh, create an email to project owners who received a give drop.
Yeah, so I created this issue. Like projects received a give drop, but they can't claim it with their Taurus.
Yeah.
So I want to send them an email letting them know that they got one, but I don't want to send it to them until they can use their Taurus account to claim it. So I just made an issue. Once we can figure out the Taurus thing, then I'll send an email.
Cool, nice. I think I assigned Vitor to that issue, so to check to see how to make the Taurus integration. So I'll also send it to him and make sure that he takes a look.
Okay.
Cool. Cool. Hey guys, cool, fun stuff. Satya from GatherTown, who came to our community spotlight, was like, hey, I love Giveth so much. I'd love to give you a GatherTown for free. So we could make a GatherTown, and then we could use it for calls or Meet the Makers things. And I think this is really cool, and it would be really fun to set up. I would love to. We could do it together, but it's like you design it and make it pretty, and you make it look like what you want. But I wanted to put this as an issue here to also just like, so that we could have it as like brainstorming for resources, because we were talking about, making the Meet the Maker call and doing that in AirMeet. So we could totally do it in AirMeet, or we could do it in GatherTown, whatever works. Question, actually, Ashley, you sent this email out to all these projects. Did you get any projects saying that they wanted to be part of a Meet the Maker?
Yeah, we've gotten 8.
Wow.
Responses. Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. That's awesome. That already seems like, how many do we want?
Yeah, I don't know. That was something that I was wondering too. Like right now in the type form, it kind of indicates that it's like a 5 to 10 minutes overview, like you speak about your project, give me your profile picture, your bio, like kind of the basic things. But I mean, we could offer other ways that they could interact depending, like, especially if we did do something in Gather Town, like, I don't know what all the possibilities are and I'm interested in exploring, but maybe everybody can be hosting things simultaneously and it just depends on where the person's at or like, and then we could have some people, because I'm not sure how all of GatherTown works, but it seemed in the demo, it was like depending on what you interacted with, you had a different experience, right? So
Yeah. GatherTown works like you walk around as like your little tiny person, and then you can go sit at a table. People could be standing in one spot having a conversation, and you can like walk up and be like, join and start listening.
yeah,
And then depending on where you are, it like shows your video with the other people's videos, and you can like share messages like to the people who are immediately around you or to everyone in the room, or there's like different.
yeah,
It's
it
kind of
seems
like
like
just
a really
hanging out in a virtual world.
it seems like a really fun idea. It just also seems like a big task to take on right now.
Yeah. Okay, well, why don't we bench this for a little while? But I think keep an eye open on the email if you're getting any more responses from people. But 8 projects seems pretty good, and maybe let's discuss this next week and come up with like the best plan. We can spend this week kind of like cleaning up and filling out any of the gaps that happen after lunch.
Yeah, that sounds great. And starting on the first of the year, the Tech Up Air Meet platform is like going to be a 24/7 conference. So we can have our event at any time that we want. We can add it to the schedule. There will be other people in there maybe doing things at the same time. Eventually, if enough people get involved, there will be all sorts of different booths and things that people can go and check out. So it's also another really good platform. So I don't know, I'm torn with the Gather Town and the Air Meet thing because the Tech Up thing seems really cool, but also this seems really fun. So I don't know.
Cool. Well, we can set them both up because I think with GatherTown we can set it up and then use it at any time. Like it'll be the Giveth GatherTown link, and we can share that and use it at any time. So I think we could set it up and then decide which one we want to do.
Yeah.
But
Well, and I
we'll
think
bench
the
it for next.
Gather Town thing, we could honestly even have it set up and people could go check it out even with nobody there. It doesn't have to be like an event going on. Is that right? Like you could just go to Giveth Gather Town anytime you want or only when we open it publicly.
I think anytime you want. I think. And what I was in Kernel and they used it in Kernel, and it would like we'd have like a Zoom call with presentations and blah blah blah, and then it'd be like if you want to have it was like the after cuddle call. It's like you
Okay.
just like share the link in the chat, and then like whoever still wanted to keep talking could go and join the Gather Town, and then go talk to somebody that thought was interesting, and then
Yeah,
it's
that's
really cool.
super cool. And I think like if we set it up, we could probably put different things in there that are interactive, like old school Giveth videos, or like have like a Giveth museum or something.
Yeah.
So that
Hey,
could
I
be
just
God,
wanted
it's
to
so
say
cool.
something to cut you guys off. Maybe I missed this in while I was gone. But I noticed there's a bunch of One Hive people in here.
There are a bunch
Hello.
of people in here. I actually have to jump though. We have an interview right now with the DAOists.
Uh-huh. Oh,
But
well,
Mitch, if you want to welcome everybody, these are actually all the issues on the board, so I feel satisfied for comms.
Oh, awesome. Well, I mean, glad to see a bunch of new faces in our communication call.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know if they caught
Yeah,
the
for
part
sure.
when we were talking about adding tourists to the gardens or any of that
Well,
stuff.
this is more like the One Hive comms crew almost, or I don't know, PM crew. Not we need to talk to Gabby about that.
Oh,
But
I see.
I know Lauren and I have to run, unfortunately. But Monstrosity, I definitely want to hang out and talk token swaps and all the things sometime soon.
Yeah, I heard what you were talking about with the tourist thing, but yeah, I wouldn't know how to handle that.
Nice. Okay, we have to run though. We're already late. But thanks, guys. See you, everyone.
Hey, Lauren, send us a link to the podcast whenever it's finished so we can share it.
Yeah, it's really interesting. It's like you can stream to your audience, so maybe I'm going to try to stream with transparency right now. But
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, keep us informed. Love you. Have fun.
thanks, Ashley. Love you. Bye.
All right.
Bye.
Everybody.